Okay, we're live.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't understand why is it. I don't get. I guess how, because like I said, I watched a lot of videos where they're stating basically that they're being poisoned. I guess. Oh, I gotta turn my phone down. Oh shit. Uh, that they're being poisoned by fentanyl, and how all these parents are like, oh, my kid wanted, was experimenting, say for example with weed, and he was such a good kid and this and that, and he ended up, with fentanyl in it, and it killed him. Well, what about the one that basically did the same thing but OD'd on their drug of choice? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Well, see, now that you mention that, you think about it. When somebody dies of an alcohol, they say alcohol poisoning. I'm sure
right,
that their intention was not to die from drinking, and drinking themselves to death.
exactly, exactly,
I I
and
guess it's just the way society looks at it.
right,
That if you're, doing drugs, that you've got to take the chance that you're going to die, and they get that stigma about, well, you're risking your own life, and they're
right.
kind of cold about it.
I don't know, it just irritates me. It's Hey, Tawanda. It's a little frustrating just because it's I I don't know. I don't know. Like I told Perry, I said I just don't understand how, they say, fentanyl, if you die from fentanyl, it's poisoning, but if you die from your drug of choice, it's a drug overdose. And you're looked at as an asshole for, you know what I mean, for doing it.
Right.
But yet, if you do your drug of choice and it accidentally has fentanyl in it and you die from the fentanyl, then it was fentanyl poisoning, not an overdose. And
Right.
it blows me away, I guess, on all the different, you know, and the different ways that they look at it. It just, I don't know. It's crazy to me. It's I was
Well, just
watching go ahead.
just like, this talking about like the fentanyl and stuff, you know, they act like that, because I've went and picked up fentanyl just to keep, because ever since, I've been in recovery, I just thought it was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And here, like some places they hand it out as you go to the clinics and stuff. Here,
Mm-hmm.
it's like if you go ask for it or you start inquiring about it, they act like you're intentionally going to try to do something to get to use it.
You mean Narcan, right?
I mean, yeah, Narcan, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, uh, but
I
I'm
knew what you
like,
meant.
uh, I'm like, why would, they make it harder for people to want to get things to help them. I think everybody
Mm-hmm.
should keep it. You know,
Oh,
I
I do
hope I
too.
never have a chance to, I hope I never need to use it, but I
Right.
always, I think that they should be, because in the little town, or,
Mm-hmm.
in the place that I'm at, you look at how much the fentanyl and stuff is getting here, and people don't even
Right.
know about
Yep.
it.
Oh yeah. It's scary. It's like I was telling Seth yesterday, I had watched a video about where this school nurse, it was junior high in New York, I believe, a school in New York, where a girl had taken, those vape pens that you can smoke weed out of. It's like liquid weed, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, my, you know, Austin has one. My kids are of age, believe me, guys. So, but anyways, uh, yeah. Anyways, I guess they're buying them offline for the cartridges that go to that, and apparently a girl in New York was in school and decided to take a hit off of it from one of her friends, and ended up going into fentanyl withdrawal. And thank God the school nurse had the Narcan on hand and was able to pull her out of it.
You said
But
fentanyl withdrawal?
so, okay, no. What had happened was she had taken a hit off of it was supposed to be weed in
Yeah.
in the vape or whatever that they smoke. Well, because he had bought in the cartridge offline, I guess it was laced with fentanyl in it. And the girl
Okay.
had taken a hit and it put her into withdrawal, into ODing, overdosing. And the school nurse, thank goodness she had Narcan on hand because she was able to pull the girl out of it. But
See, I wonder how you would. I mean, what that would be scary to even have to assess.
right? We're talking
I
a
mean,
junior high school.
well, I've never asked, but what happens if you think somebody is ODing and you give them the Narcan, and they're not? What happens? Is
it
there just nothing, or what
no,
happens in that?
it'll it'll put you into withdrawal. You'll go, it'll, what it does is it clears your receptors. So that's why if you ever, it's, what's crazy is like when you watch videos where people are administering the Narcan, they never show you the aftermath of what happens to the patient. Because what end up happening is the patient ends up going into complete withdrawal. All the drugs have now been wiped off the receptors. So they, within, I believe it's like within minutes, they start going through, the withdrawals. And that's why normally when that happens, either they don't go to the hospital, or if they do end up in the hospital, they end up fighting to get out so they can go get high again. Because they're in withdrawal because it's completely wiped their receptors of it. So,
See, that's so scary. And see, that's
yeah,
something, the clinic that I go to, they don't educate you on any of that. None.
yeah.
And I mean,
Mine,
and it's so scary. It's scary for me to watch videos and to
right.
ask questions. And so I think, how somebody kind of sticks their head in the sand and acts oblivious to it.
Hmm.
That's kind of what I do sometimes because I get so scared about what could happen.
Right. Right. Yeah, because it's the unknowing. So when you don't know something, you're going to freak out about it, especially us, because, you know, addicts, recovering addicts or addicts, whatever, don't like change for one, and we don't like the unknowing. We like predicting. Like if we're going to do something, we want to predict the outcome of it, you know, and something like that. Yeah, it's definitely scary because like I said, it completely wipes your receptors. So imagine, when we were when you were like an active addiction and how you would go through withdrawal. Well, this would be like 50 times worse than that type of withdrawal because it completely clears any opiate on those receptors. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely scary.
See, I
Had to
just
light a cigarette.
that's that's something that I mean, they don't educate people
Mm-mm.
on the what ifs, I guess.
No, they don't. They
And
don't.
it just kind of I don't which it's I should say, like in my clinic,
Mm.
it's kind of they have nobody there. I bet there wasn't one person there that's ever even tried drugs.
Right.
So I guess I always I try to look at that because, you know, I know it's hard for them to understand and explain things to
Right.
my brain because, they haven't been there. But I
Right.
wish, they would put more, you know, I understand the idea of putting addicts in, places, but, sometimes I think they need people that's had the experience, you
Oh, they
know,
do. Yeah.
and know that what you're going through and what you're thinking and what you've, been through, what you need to know. I
Right.
think it would make
Oh,
it
I agree.
easier.
Well, it would make it more relatable too, because I know, like when I first started the MAP program, and that I remember going in, and my first counselor, his name was Glenn, and he, what made him so relatable was he was an recovering addict himself. He was an alcoholic, but he said that even though opiates wasn't his thing, he knew how easy it would be. And he told a story about how he had lost, like, he had gone in and got teeth work done, and they gave him some pain meds to go home with, and they sat in his dresser. And he said all night long, that's all he thought about was taking those pills, taking those pills. And so he ended up having his wife throw them away. But, he said, but that's what makes him so relatable. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas after, when he left, they brought in another counselor that had never been, any type of addiction. And I'm just going, I never opened up after that because I thought, he's judging us. I, somebody, I guess I'm the type that I feel like if you haven't been there and you can't relate to, my story in that aspect, then you're going to judge me for what I've done,
Yeah.
and I've already judged myself enough. I don't need other people judging me, you know, and that's another thing that I don't understand. Like, there's a channel, well, I've sent you links to her before, where she is an addict, and she's online. We all know why she's online and what she's doing and what, we're not stupid. But I'll see people go in there and just down this girl on her, comments. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, going, do those people not realize that there is nothing that they can say to her that she hasn't already said to herself every day of every minute? You know,
See, that's
I,
what I don't get. I've even told my doctor that, you
mm-hmm,
know, and they act like that the things that they're telling you to try, like you ain't tried. It's
right,
like you've got to be joking. You think that you just thought of this.
right, exactly. Well, get this. So I went into my clinic, I think Wednesday was my clinic day. And I was talking to the doctor, and she says, "So it came up again on your UA that you had alcohol in your system." And I'm like, "What?" "No." And she goes, "Did you swish with mouthwash by chance?" I said, "No." I said, "I brushed my teeth, but no mouthwash." And I kind of told her the story, but it blows me away. And I even told Perry, I said, "I don't understand, because I think the last couple have been coming up with alcohol in them. I don't drink. Drinking was never my issue. And you know that. I don't
Right.
drink." So I'm like going, why is alcohol? And Perry said that the only way that alcohol, if it's not me, is it's more than likely them, either when they're wiping out the cups with the alcohol swabs, they're not realizing that it's like staying in the cup, maybe, or something to do with the cup, that it's on their end, it's not on my end, because I don't understand how I would have alcohol in my
What
system.
about, is there any, like, is, this is just a far-fetched probably idea, but what about, like cold medicine? Could it come up like that? Like, the
See, I
cough
wondered
syrup?
that too. I don't know. It's a possibility. See, I wondered that too. And now that you bring that up, I should have said that to her, because I should have asked her, because I think right before that last appointment, I had a cold, so I think I was taking NyQuil that
See,
night. You know what
that's
I
the
mean?
only reason that even makes me think of that was because
Right.
I knew a girl whose dad was an alcoholic, and when they would try to get him to quit drinking, he would drink everything in the house, including cough medicine and
Mm-hmm.
perfume to
Yep.
get drunk, or
Right.
and I just remember that being something that they couldn't even keep in the house,
Right.
was like cough medicine.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
So
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I should have brought that up to her. But I don't know. I think, the there. It's funny, because I remember when I first started, like, the clinic and that, and how strict they were. Today, they're it's so lenient now, but the problem is that it's like right now I have no insurance. So and even if, so Perry's even looked at the insurance, and this pisses me off. I don't understand. Perry's looked at the insurances to see which insurance, would be best that we can afford, that would cover, you know, the Suboxone and my appointment. So he found one, but it only covers my appointment. It doesn't cover the medicine. So I'm putting out like almost $200 a month in just being able to get my strips because we have no insurance, you know. And it's ridiculous because they're not making it easier for us to
Right.
get help, as they're saying, you know. It's ridiculous.
That just, it blows my mind. But
Yeah.
yet if you was gonna go get pain medicine, they'd pay for it.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's something I never understood. I mean,
Right?
there's there's so much that I've seen that needs to be changed
Fixed?
about the
Yeah.
system. Yeah, just like even with me going in and out of the hospitals. You know, the last time I went to the hospital, they came and told me, all the other times I'd been in there and I'd been on Suboxone, they'd be like, "Don't bring yours to the hospital. We'll give you ours." Well, they
Right.
sent me to a different hospital, and I get checked in, and they're like, "Oh," and I told them, tell them the medications, and
Mhm.
they're like, "Oh, well, we can't give you that medication. We can't even get it here."
Right. Yeah. Because
And
some
I'm like,
hospitals.
"Right." And I'm like, "You've got to be joking. What do you mean you can't get it?"
Right.
Well, then, it's a whole ordeal. Like, I sent and got mine, had somebody go pick it up because I don't
Mhm.
keep it with me,
Right.
and giving it to them, I had to, sign so many papers, go through so much crap. They had to lock it up in a safe and bring it to me. It had to be in the
Right.
bottle that, and I don't know how everybody else is, but I don't like giving my medication up to somebody I'm not sure who they
Right.
are,
Well,
and
exactly. It's
handing
a
my whole
hassle.
bottle, yeah, and handing my whole bottle over is just not something that I'm comfortable with,
No. No.
and I go through all this bull crap, and then, you know, when I'm handing it to the nurse, trying to explain to them how I take it because they don't even understand about how it's took, about being you to just dissolve it.
Right.
He looks at my bottle and looks at me. Now I have the dates on it, my name and everything. He
Right.
goes, "Do you buy this off the street?"
What?
And I'm
Uh,
like, "How many drug dealers do you know that can put my name on the bottle?"
right. Oh my God.
And he
Wow.
goes, "Well, where do you go to get?" And I mean, this is a nurse at a hospital
Right.
acting like, and which I told my doctor about them, going, she said, "I would have been so offended." And I said, "I was so taken back about it. I didn't know, I couldn't even find being offended by it. I was just so surprised. Like, what, what are you
Right.
thinking? You know,
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, because the thing is that they should know, in my opinion. That should be a part of their training. You know, they it should be an automatic, you see it all over. They're saying, we're in an epidemic, with addiction and this stuff. And but yet you walk into hospitals like that and they've never even heard of it, you
right.
know. And it's like, how are you saying we're in an epidemic when you're not making it any easier for, us as recovering addicts to actually reach out for help when, like I said, there's places like that have no clue,
It's like
you
belittling
know.
people. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
not. And just like when I got ready
It
to
is.
leave to go home, like I said, my medication was in their
Mhm.
safe. Uh, and they came, I was getting ready to come home and I'm like, I need my medication that I brought. And
Mhm.
they're like, "Well, we can't give it to you right now. You'll have to come back and get it." And it's
What?
like, "What?" And they said
Yeah.
there's only like one person on that floor that can get it out. And that person wasn't going to be there till later on that day.
Wow. Yeah, that's
So that took another trip to the hospital to go get it,
right. And out of
which
your
was
way
just,
too,
yeah.
because
And I'm like, well, you're sick and you're still sick when you're getting out of the hospital. You don't really want to, it's like
right,
making the trip
exactly.
back, is something it just, I don't know, it just blows my mind the way they treat you.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
it's like after I told them about it, I don't know why they didn't just leave it. You know, I'm at home with it. I take it myself at home. Nobody gives
Mm.
it to me at home. I
Right.
don't know what the big deal was, why they had to hold on to it. Why didn't you just leave me with it? I could, you know, just,
Exactly.
you know, bring it to me and I'll get it out or whatever. Don't, you know, I can understand them not wanting to leave it in the room, but to act the way they did about it, like that I was going to take every bit of it if
Right.
they brought me the bottle. I don't know. It's just, it was kind of a
Yeah. Well, it's
clusterfuck.
like, well, they wanted you to feel little, is what it sounds like, like it, see, and that's another thing is I just hate the stigmas. That it just pisses me off with the stigmas because it's, they want us to come out and be more, open about it and, reach out for help and this and that. But oh my goodness, I've gone on, I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook and I've seen time and time again women and even men, where they're hiding it or they're, because they don't want, their families to know or they don't want this to know or, because they're ashamed of themselves. And I'm just, it's like, really, you know, because to me, I feel like, it, what we've gone through as addicts alone was hell, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It sucked. And there was a reason why we got clean in the first place. And it's because we wanted to become a better us, you know? And so we should be proud of that. We should be proud of who we, have become because it's, we, shit, God only knows where we would be, you know? It just, I don't get it. But yet, you tell Joe Blow on the street that, you're a recovering addict and they're going to get side eye you
Yeah. They
as if
start
you're going
looking
to
at you
snort a
different.
bullet.
Yeah.
Right.
I made the
It's
comment because I'm that way. And there's this girl, I go to Michael's in our town.
hey, Anna Rose.
What it's, hey Honor Rose, how are you? Like there's this girl that is a manager at the Michael's, you know, it's like a craft store.
Right.
And she was always friendly to me. Always spoke to me every
Mm-hmm.
time I went in there, you know, would joke around with me and stuff. Well, one night something happened. I don't even know how it came about. But now, like I've been going in there for, she's been a manager there for like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
So I mean, she's, come on, Zoza, a dog's trying to eat my cat. so so you know, it's I felt a little bit more comfortable with her. And
Right.
oh, I know what it was. She had just, somebody from the store next door had stole something and brought it to their store and hid it. And the cops had came over there. And
Oh,
she
okay.
made some kind of comment about, I don't know, drug heads or so. Anyway, it kind of
Mm.
came up. And I don't know, it kind of
Mm.
struck me wrong. And so I made the comment that, I was in recovery, you know.
Right.
And ever since then, it's like when I go in there, it's almost like I feel the tension of like her watching me now. That,
Mm-hmm.
now it's, I'm could steal or I could, that I'm one of
Right.
those.
Right.
And it's like, I feel like people do that when you come out, and it's not that,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm glad you went through that. I'm glad you're better. No, it's
Right.
almost like you're wronged. You
Yeah.
you were wrong for even getting better. You
Exactly.
know,
Yep.
you were more
No, I
trusted
agree.
when you were an undercover drug addict. You
Yep.
know,
Exactly.
so
It's mind blowing. I don't know. I don't. My brother's that way too. My brother has. It's like I was talking to my mom the other day, and I asked her. I told her, I said, I haven't talked to my brother in a while, and I said it's because he judges me, and the problem is that he's so far into the Bible, like he'll preach to you, and I'm okay with a little bit, but when you're completely every conversation, it's like, come on, you know. But he feels like we've switched one up for another, And he's told my mom this. And I mean, he's even come out, like, I'll see him periodically and he'll ask me, you off that stuff yet? How long you got to be on it? Well, and I'm just thinking, are you kidding me? What's the issue here? Because I look at it this way, and I even told Perry this. I think I even told you this, that, the things that I did when I was in active addiction, I would never do now. I'm ashamed of the things that I did. I'm not ashamed of what I do now. You know what I mean? There's a huge difference. So would it be better that I was on my DOC, or is it better that I'm on this? And so it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand the judgment behind it. If I'm, a little bit more trustworthy, and you know what I mean? I mean, it just, I don't know. I don't get it.
I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, and see, like, it's not, we would wish to be off of it. They act like that we choose to be on this. And that was something I actually brought up to my doctor the last time I was there, which I had a random this last week, but before that, on my regular appointment, I made the comment because I've been trying to get her to start tapering me off.
Okay.
And she finally looked at me this week and she goes, "Do you want me to be honest with you?" And I'm like, "Well, sure, yeah, why?" She says, "I don't think you'll ever be off of Suboxone." And I'm like, "What?" Because my idea is I want a day in my life that I don't have to think about when my next appointment is. Yeah, where I don't have to worry about if I want to go out of town, that I've got to set it up through my doctor's appointments or this, that, and the other. I don't want I want there to be a day when I feel free from that.
Exactly.
And she's sitting here telling me she don't think I ever would be or ever will be. And I'm like, why do you? She said, "You're just too nervous. I don't see you ever being off of it." And I'm like, what's that got to do with, and I believe I can at least, which I don't know. I guess that kind of hurt me that she would even tell me that, I felt like that was her saying, I'm not going to work with you to get you off, or, I don't think you have it in you to get off of it.
Right.
On a rose, I hope so, because it's been a long road on this, which I've been in recovery for just over 2 years, which it don't seem like that. It don't seem that long.
No, it don't. But it's like I was telling Perry, because so I don't know if you know about, it's called oh my goodness, I have to look it up real quick. It's a little bit more expensive, but
is it the new drug that they were talking about?
Yep.
How is that administered? Is it through a shot?
Yes, it is. Yep, it's through it. That's what I was looking for. I believe, gosh, I think Sublocade. That's what it's called. Sublocade. So Sublocade is basically the same thing. It's just in shot form. And they put it right in your belly, apparently. And the downfall from it is, I guess all this stuff that they inject you with, it sits basically like right underneath the skin. So if something was to bump you, or, like for example, Isaiah, he runs at me. And so if he was to run at me and say, hit my stomach, he could end up pushing more medicine in before it's supposed to go in, like absorb more of it. So that's kind of a downfall for it. But here's the thing. Apparently it's coming out, and they're finding out more and more that a lot of patients that are on Suboxone, that are wanting to get off of Suboxone are changing over to Sublocade, and they're able to wing themselves down and get off of it with no withdrawals, nothing, and be just fine.
I
So,
wonder if when you go and something, if this is something that's crossed my mind. Okay, like say when you go from one, like Suboxone, and you go to that, do they make you
right.
get everything out of your system, like all the Suboxone before you start the new drug or the new,
That I don't know. I'll have to
I've
look into
wondered
that
about that
one.
because that's
Yeah.
something that I know that I would be that would be something I would
Yeah.
wonder about before I jumped
Right.
off one into the other. Would I have
Right.
to go through withdrawals before I got to the next one?
Yeah, because so I've watched different channels. Like I've heard different people saying, there's some where it doesn't last them all month, that they've had to get a prescription for the strips for the end of the month. But
Yeah,
then I've heard where they've done just fine, especially the ones that are wanting to, you know the purpose of it is to get off of it completely. So those ones are they've never had to have the prescription and stuff, because they've had the mindset of, I'm good, I'm going to do this is, I'm going to turn my camera off.
I wonder. Like, see, I haven't, and it's for alcoholics too, isn't it? If
No, now
is it?
the
Well,
alcohol.
I seen one for alcoholics, right? They just
Yes, there is.
came out with
Yep,
one.
that's Vivitrol. Vivitrol is
See,
for alcoholics.
it didn't seem like it had very good statistics, but apparently they are compared to what because I had said
Yeah.
something to the doctor about that because somebody I knew was interested in knowing about it, and
Mm-hmm.
I had read about it, and the statistics was like, I'd want a better chance than that of getting off of
Right.
it. But when I
Right.
went and asked her about it, she said you wouldn't believe what the statistics are on some of the stuff that I'm
Oh
thinking
yeah.
maybe it's just something you don't need to know in the beginning. Sometimes ignorance
Right.
ignorance is bliss,
Yep.
and if you don't know
Exactly.
it, you don't worry about it.
Exactly. Well, and I think too that when it comes to like Vivitrol. So there was a guy in my group actually that was on Vivitrol. He was on the Vivitrol shot because he was an alcoholic, and he actually said it does awesome. It kind of cuts the cravings down. He wasn't, then there was another guy that was an idiot, because with Vivitrol, you have to be completely opiate and alcohol free, completely, for at least 48 hours, I think it is. So, and if you have any on your receptors, it takes you into excruciating withdrawals where you might even have to be hospitalized for it. That's why if you've ever seen the movie, I think it's called 4 Days or something like that, it has the chick that's married to Ashton Kutcher. What's her name? God, I can't remember her name. Anyway, she was in that 70s show. She played in that movie. And yeah, she ended up at the end having her mom piss for her, and she ended up getting a shot, even though she had, I think heroin or something, in her system. And she ended up hospitalized. So you really got to look into, what has to take place, basically, I guess,
Yeah.
before you get
Well, one of the people that I was talking to that was trying to get off alcohol, they was seeming like they were sick all the time, and I wondered
right.
if they wasn't trying to you know do both of them, and
Mm-hmm.
which of course when you ask them they're not going to tell you the truth, so you
Right.
just kind of try to warn them what could happen. But and
Yeah.
Anna Rose, I hope, did you make it through Christmas? I know that Anna Rose does all kinds of neat little craft, or well, not they're not little crafts. She crochets everything. She
Oh
sews.
my goodness.
She's talented as all get out.
Right.
I'm sure Christmas is a time where she just loves.
Right. Oh my goodness. I can crochet, but I crochet backwards because I'm left-handed. So everything
Oh,
goes in a
you
circle.
are? That's
Yeah.
weird. Well, see, when I was in beauty school, I didn't think I was ever going to learn some things because my instructor was left-handed and I was right-handed.
Oh yeah.
And you
Yep.
don't realize how bad that screws you up until somebody
Mm-hmm.
is trying to show you how to do stuff all the time.
Right. Right. Yeah, because we do things backwards. So it's yeah. It's kind of
I
hard for us
was
sometimes.
It was awful. I mean, it was, and she was the only instructor at nights, if I'd been
Oh
able to do
no.
days. But I mean, it was so funny because everybody was right-handed at night.
Oh
And,
wow.
so it was, we had to learn the hard way.
Right. Right.
Well,
Yeah.
Honor Rose,
Oh.
I was lucky this year. My kids are getting big enough that we did the money thing. It's like,
Right.
here's a pair of pajamas and a big fluffy house coat, and here's some money.
Yep. Oh, we
So
did one present under the tree and then the stockings. That's it for the older kids. The littler kids, the grandkids, they were spoiled. Yeah.
Honor Rose, I do too, and I like to have something to do, but I don't know. Here lately, it's been I'm having. I guess I can't concentrate on one thing anymore. Here lately, it's like my mind is everywhere until it's just my house and my mind is so cluttered right now. I don't know what to do. I
Right.
start, we've started so many projects of painting and tearing down walls and this, that, and the other, and it's like I start like 4 or 5 things and then I get
Mm-hmm.
sick, and so I'm down for a little bit, and so
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because I
It's
was gonna have so much done before Christmas, and I barely got up my tree,
mm,
barely.
I know. I'm excited next year. My mom's getting rid of all of her Christmas stuff and I mean everything. So she said that we're going to get that for next year. So I'm pretty excited for that, especially because Isaiah will be 3.
Uh
Hopefully, he won't touch as much as he did this year,
huh.
but God only knows with that kid. Oh,
My
he's a little
daughter, like,
turkey.
I had this year, like, I have the Christmas tree that goes around, the one
Mm-hmm.
that spins. Well, it's big and stuff, and this year I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't feel good,
Right.
and so I passed that on to my daughter,
Oh.
and I was like, here, you can have it. And she was so
Mm-hmm.
excited, and she has never had the cat until this year,
Oh no.
and the cat, she said, as long as she kept it spinning, it, like, the cat couldn't jump on it as much. And she said that's the
Oh.
only thing that saved the tree was as long as she kept it spinning.
Oh
But she
no.
said she had another little tree that she had up that, didn't do anything. And she said the cat had just ripped it, just, or, tore everything off
Oh,
of it.
I can
So,
imagine. Oh my God.
oh, the
Wow.
grandkitty is good, but she's wanting another grandkitty. And I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
she,
that's.
oh, that cat,
Mm,
if she ever, at the way she does that cat, if she ever
mm.
has kids, we're in for it because that cat is on
Oh.
a schedule to eat. It's on a schedule here. And she just took a job a couple months back. It's
Mm.
at it's a doggy spa.
Nice.
And she loves it.
Oh, I bet.
And she's like, I feel like I've got a calling, And I'm thinking,
Oh.
I'm so glad that she loves it as much as she does, but she
Right.
loves animals.
Yep.
And I mean, it's so, which she does the social media and stuff for it also. But I get so excited. Coffee chat, she reminds me of you when you start talking about the animals, that excitement she gets in her voice.
Mm-hmm. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
she loves it.
Oh, I gotta
And,
tell you. So. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna
Have
tell
you
you.
still got the 2 babies
Yeah.
now?
So
Okay.
you know how we got Tonka, which is the little. He's a little. Oh my goodness. What is he? He's a little. Not a Pomeranian. He's a. Oh my goodness. I swear my husband.
Pekingese?
No. Perry calls it freaking COVID brain, is what I've been having lately. Right.
I've
I
had it for
remember
a
something.
while,
And
and I
yeah,
haven't even
I
had
can't.
COVID.
Oh, he is a. I'm gonna look it up. He is.
Is it a Shih Tzu?
No, he is a Yorkie. That's what he is.
Oh, okay. I had
Yeah.
a
He,
Yorkie.
yeah, he's a little Yorkie. But but he's like 8 or 9 years old. My aunt's not quite sure on his age. But she's had him the whole time since he was a puppy. And so it's kind of sad because I don't even know I don't know what she's allowed because so mind you, before my uncle passed away, she had like 3 or 4 dogs, including Tonka.
Yeah.
So, having that many dogs, this dog is so skittish. I'm not even kidding. It jumps and it's attached to me. So it's constantly, I'm surprised he's not scratching on the door right now where I am because he can't come out here. He, and I'm talking, he will sit in the middle of the kitchen if I'm standing in the kitchen because the dog, wants to follow me everywhere.
Yeah.
But he freaking pissed on the damn presents. I was so
Oh my
pissed.
gosh.
Yeah.
He was
And
marking them for y'all.
oh my gosh. So I ended up having to wrap 2 presents. But here's the thing about this dog. I don't know if it's because he's getting old or if he just never taught himself or something. But so when he goes out to go potty, he not only pees, but while he's trying to pee, he will poop at the same time. I
Wow.
don't get this. Yeah. And like I said, I don't know if it's because he's getting old and he's just, old age and he doesn't know the difference between the sensations, which I don't know if but yeah, he's so weird. Oh, I had to break him of trying to come underneath my blankets because he kept wanting to get under the blankets with Perry and I'm like, I don't freaking think so. Because I guess she allowed him to do that. But
See,
the,
I
hmm,
I couldn't. I've not got our dog. See, my little dogs did sleep with me, and
right,
which they were little. All together,
right,
all like three of them didn't weigh 15 pounds together.
right.
But like with Zoe, no, she would crowd me out of the
Mm-mm.
bed. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't let Raven Raven sleeps in her kennel. She's way too big. She's probably about 120 pounds now.
See,
100.
I
Well,
don't. Zoe's at 100 pounds.
yeah,
We haven't weighed her for a while, but
yeah.
I
She's
just, and
yeah, and
I will never have another short haired dog again, ever.
right.
They shed
They
more than anything I've
yes.
ever seen in my life.
Oh my gosh, Raven had. Oh my goodness, in their skin, she has such issues. It's not even funny. Ugh, she
Get her,
drives
have,
me crazy.
get her the flea pill. Do you know
Mm,
my dog was that way? My other little dog, and
right.
they were allergic to grass and everything. Everything I turned
Uh-huh.
around, they were allergic to. Do you know when
Right.
I started giving her the flea pill after we got her, that she
Mm,
stopped having all them skin issues and scratching all the time? And
I'd
then
have to do that.
the other dog that we had, that stayed at the farm, he
Right.
did the same thing. As he was getting older, he was going through the same thing, and I got him put on the flea pill,
Yeah.
and his cleared up. But if
Okay.
we let it wear off before we got another one, he would
Right.
start scratching all the time again.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
mean,
because it's
and you
not
can get them through the Humane Society, like for
okay.
half price of what they are at the vet's office. So
Right. Okay, I'll have to do that. Yeah, because it's not fleas because she don't have fleas, you know. So and it's her skin. She's just got really dry, and she's short haired, but she freaking sheds so much. It blows me away. She should be a long haired dog. Like that's
have you
how I
ever
feel.
put coconut oil in her food?
Yeah, I've tried that. Yeah, yeah.
See,
I've
some
tried so
dogs are
many
just,
things. Oh, I don't know. She's high maintenance.
but that's just, which this dog, if this dog hadn't chose me, I always said I didn't want another one because I got so
Right.
attached to mine that,
Yeah.
and I'm not. my daughter, she's always calling me. She goes, "Oh, I seen a dog you need." No, I don't need a dog because
I
she
know. I
thinks I need
remember.
another one. She thinks I need a
Mm-hmm.
little one because my little ones did sleep with me and everything.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm fine without a little one, you know. And I
Yeah.
told her, one of these days I want to get where I can go somewhere and do things without having to worry about, because like now, even when I go to the hospital, I've got to worry about who's going to let her in and out and, you know,
Right.
stuff like that. And I worry about her when I'm gone.
Right.
So
Yep.
I
Yeah.
just don't want
I'm the
that
same
worry
way.
anymore.
No, I agree. I, I know. I told. I asked the kids the other day. I said, "So, if your dad and I were to get up one day and take the dogs and just leave, what would you do?" And they're like, "Cow chop." I'm like, "Oh my god." Seth Seth said it was so funny. Seth goes, "If my parents woke up one day, grabbed the dogs and just left, I'm calling 911 because my parents don't do that." So you had to have gotten kidnapped or something.
See, that's the way
Like,
my kids would be. Somebody took mom. If she ain't at the house, somebody took her.
mm-hmm. Mm. It was so funny. I was like, "Oh my gosh." It's
I don't know. I
but
get out
yeah.
more than I used to. It's easier now, since I don't
Right.
have the habit. But
Right.
yeah, I do want to get to that point that I travel or do something. I've not been that kind of
Mm-hmm.
person, but
Right.
one of these days, maybe one of these days.
I know.
But
I know. I want to try. I don't know if I want to travel. Well, I think I do want to travel with it. I want to get a motorhome
oh,
eventually.
I'd love that. I'd love that. Which I told the
Right?
kids this year, my I would love one Christmas because everything's so stressful during Christmas.
Yes, it is.
Before my kids get, having kids and all that stuff, I would like
Mm.
one Christmas, me and the kids to all us go as, a big family somewhere like the Smoky Mountains or something through Christmas
Right. There you
and just
go.
have a nice vacation through Christmas and rent,
Right.
a cabin and stuff. But I don't know. It's like everybody, my daughter, she even worked on Christmas, which she volunteered, but I don't blame her for what she
Mm-hmm.
got paid.
Right.
I'm
I know Perry worked too.
I'm not into camping. Now, if there's a motor home, now my daughter, my youngest, loves to go camping. She loves
Right.
a tent and a hammock and sleeping outside and nope, 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 nope. I want a
Right.
motor home or something
Gotta have. Yeah.
or go to the
Uh,
hotel that night.
There you go. I know.
And
Yeah. Camping, no, not in a tent.
but my middle daughter, her and their friends went to a thing this summer and they stayed in a tent for what was it, 4 days?
I think so.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. Sleeping they drove a van and they took a tent and when it was, you know, cool enough to sleep in the van, they slept in the van and then
Right.
the rest of the time they slept in the tent. But I'm like, I would have never dreamed that those two kids would have made it because they were the two that doesn't like to get dirty or anything. But
Yeah.
they stayed the whole time. It just blew my mind.
I remember that.
I like to be outside until it's time to go to bed. It's then I don't want to sleep outside.
Right. I like sitting by the fire. That's my thing.
On a rose, that's what I said that when my kids got older, I was going to sell everything and just get an RV, and I'm just going to go stay in their driveways. That way, I can hook up to their power and electric, or their power and water and everything, and I won't have to go. I won't go anywhere but their driveways. I wouldn't go very far.
Right.
I don't want to
So
travel,
I
travel. I just want to travel and have somewhere to sleep at night.
so I told Perry. I asked him. I said, "What was it we were talking about? We were talking about overdoses." And I told him. I said, "How many people do you think die in a year?" of drug overdoses. And he goes, oh, well, in what was it, 2019, when COVID come out. When did COVID come out? In 2020 or
I thought it was
2021?
2019.
Was it
It had to be
2019?
2020, wouldn't it? Because it's been about 2 years, ain't it?
I think so. So yeah,
It
and I
had
want to
to have
say,
been. It was like, wasn't it the beginning of 2020? Like near the beginning of the year, right after Christmas.
I think so. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, 2019.
Golly, the last 2 years has been such a blur, has it not?
Right. So, because he said, so he goes, well, more people died from COVID than uh, drug overdoses, right? No, no. More people died from drug overdoses. So in 2019, uh, it was 62,172 people died of drug overdoses. In 2020, it went to 83,558. And now, if we go to this year, like 2022, 109,000 people in 1 year, in a 12-month span, died from drug overdoses.
Isn't that just wild? And you think
Yeah,
about it, everybody can think of one or two people in their lives that
right?
drugs has affected, this year even,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like that.
Yep.
And it's just
Well,
it's so scary to think about.
well, it's like Austin. Austin, shoot, I think just last year, I think he lost like 2 or 3 friends from, drug overdoses. And one of them was a fentanyl poisoning where he had he had done drugs in his car, I guess, waiting in a parking lot for something, or maybe he was just sitting there to do them or something. But he ended up, they said uh, that he froze to death, but it was actually fentanyl poisoning, is what had happened.
I've been reading
But,
in our newspaper the fentanyl is coming here. Like there was one guy who was in the paper here a couple weeks ago,
right,
and he had shot somebody in a restaurant parking lot, ran over like I think it was 7 cars, had hit them in
right.
parking lots and hit people sitting in cars, and went back to his motel room, and they found him back at his motel room where he held himself up, like where they had to get him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was from out of town, and they said that he had in the motel room he had a lot of drugs, and they were
Wow.
packaged to distribute, and that there
Right.
was some of them was laced with fentanyl.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that's that was never even something that was you'd heard about around here. And for the
Right.
newspaper to have that on the front page about how destructive this one guy was,
Mm-hmm.
and that what he was bringing in, and that they were, you know, wanting everybody to be aware that fentanyl was in our town, to be careful about what
Yep.
you take in. And then
Yeah.
it's been like every week since then, it's been something, like there was a
Mm-hmm.
guy and a girl who did drugs, and the girl got a hold of fentanyl,
Right.
and you know they did them together, but apparently what she had was laced, and she died. It's
Right.
just it's getting so bad.
Oh, it is. It is. Well, like I said, remember was telling you yesterday about the benzo dope, is what they
Yeah.
call it, and apparently, it's so. What I get is it's a benzodiazepine, or benzos is what they put in there along with, the opiate, and then you got fentanyl on top of that too. And now they're saying there's a tranquilizer known as X. I can't even pronounce it. It's XYLACINE.
Isn't it like a horse tranquilizer?
Yep, yep. That they're putting in it too. So basically, I mean, i- if you oh my gosh, it's so scary. I
But
don't
see, this is
understand.
what blows my mind, and I guess this is where my small mind don't. Okay, if you're in the business of selling drugs,
Right.
if you start killing off your clients,
Exactly.
I don't understand. I mean, it don't it blows my mind.
That's
You
what I
know,
was saying to Perry. I said the same thing. So no, you're not small minded because yeah,
because I'm
I,
thinking I can understand you wanting to lace it to get them to want it, but the
right,
thought of killing off your clients and then it's going to eventually catch up with you that you're the one that, if all your clients are dropping dead, people going to start pointing the fingers at you.
right, exactly.
So,
Well, but come to find out, apparently, so so say for example, a drug addict or a person that sells it gives it to an addict. The addict, say the addict dies. I guess the other addicts that are buying off the street hear about this and they want that person's stuff, the drugs too, because they figure if that person OD'd, then this stuff is good and it's stronger than what we're taking. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So that, I guess they benefit from it, technically, is from what I get,
that
which
just
doesn't
blows
make
my
any
mind.
sense.
It
Yeah,
just blows my mind. I'm just so
mine
glad
too.
that I don't have to worry about that anymore. That is just,
Right.
but now we worry about our kids and where they, because
Yep.
it's getting so bad.
Oh
And
yeah.
kids don't realize how scary things can be.
Mm-mm. No.
But, you know,
Well, it's like Seth. Seth, will take, like, he has a friend that, has one of those weed smoking thing contraptions, and his friend will buy it offline, and it's like I told Seth yesterday. I said, please be very careful, very careful, because all it's going to take is one time, and you're dead. you know so, and he's like, I know, Mom, I know, but you cannot experiment anymore.
no,
you know our kids, I mean, they're basically putting their lives on the line if they do. you know it's so sad, so scary, and it pisses me off because there's not more people that talk about it. They look down on it instead, and it's sad.
and it becomes that if you want to talk about it, like you talk about your recovery, like we said, that it's like you are belittled and looked down upon.
Right.
It's not that you're trying to get the word out. It's,
Exactly.
you know,
Or, then you get, say, for example, you get people that, you were like once friends with, that you've told, and, you know, then they go off and they use it against you, and it's like, I don't understand that, because it's like, why would you? That would be the last thing that I would use against anybody, even my own worst enemy, because to me, if you have fought this disease and you have basically, gotten yourself to a point where you're able to live, you know, I'm proud of you, whether you're my enemy or not. You've done awesome. I don't get holding it against me.
well,
That just
just
blows
like
my mind.
well, that goes back to what, the people that I've been talking to, some of them, and where their spouse or their
Yeah,
significant other tries to punish them while they're
right.
trying to get clean.
Exactly.
And it's like, you've got to give them some grace. They've got to, be, you don't want to punish them. Would you punish a diabetic for taking insulin? Why would you
Right.
punish them for taking, something to help them recover? Why would you push them to the point of wanting them to drink? And that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying, and even though I see it and I tell them, it's like they, they think they're not. That
Right.
it's almost like they're justified in being angry with them, that they're justified
Exactly.
in punishing them.
Right. They don't, yeah, they just want to hurt the other person. That's
Right. And it's like,
it.
do you not want them to be a better person and to clean up? Why would you keep on? I don't get it.
Right. it's sad. It's, to me, you don't, I mean, that's the one thing that Perry and I have never done, is we've never held our addiction against each other. We've never thrown it out there, and because he was, he was an addict way before me, and I didn't even know. He was an addict years, and I had no clue. And I've never used that against him, because it's not my place to do that. He already, is holding it against himself. Why should I make it worse? Is this person, wanting, the other person to hurt themselves? Because, you can push them to that point of no return if you keep going.
See, that's something I've been seeing, and it just blows my mind that I've noticed that. And I guess, I'm glad that's something I didn't have to deal with, but that's one thing why I didn't tell very many people, when I was going through the worst of it.
Right.
And because I don't know that I could have handled it. If I had somebody that had done me that way, I probably would have just went back to what I was doing.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't have dealt with it.
And that's the thing, is you can't blame them for going back either, because if they don't have the support that they need to get through it, then in your head you're going, what am I doing? What's the purpose of it? And so you need to have that support backing you just as much as yourself, and especially a spouse. It's crazy. It's sad. They don't get it.
I know. We'll see you later, Honor Rose. I think I need to jump off here and have supper. I haven't even ate yet. I had a long nap.
I know we've been on for an hour.
I know. I told you when I take a nap, I'm taking long naps. My old age is caught up with me. The other day, I fell asleep, and everybody was calling to check on me, and I guess they thought I was dead. I'm like, no, I just went to sleep. And it's like when I get so tired and when I get overwhelmed, stressed,
right,
I can lay down and sleep through anything.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did. And the dog and the cat had came in the bedroom with me, so they wasn't concerned about what was going on outside or the phone ringing or anything.
Oh,
and we had slept for like 3.5 hours or so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I try to take a nap every now and then if I get too tired, but if I take a nap, I usually will get up really early in the morning, so I try not to.
I can't believe how much I've slept the last couple of days. But
yeah, but you probably needed it.
Yeah, it's like I'm catching up with what, like when the kids were around and stuff through the holidays and everything, I didn't sleep much, and I was constantly trying to keep up with them.
Right.
But yeah, but old age is catching up with me. I can feel it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm going to end this.
If you want to try to go live again next week,
yeah.
Like if you want to schedule one for like Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and we can try to do that. We can come up with a topic before then.
Awesome.
And do some
we'll
research.
Do that.
Well, I've had fun.
Yeah, and me too.
I will talk to you later. I'm sure I'll talk to you in a little while.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you in a bit.
Bye.
Okay, bye.